Welcome to Le Samouraï, a French movie. Very rare we do a foreign movie, but you can't go wrong with Elaine Delon. And here, we see Jeff Costello himself, played by Elaine Delon, waking up. And so he gets ready and leaves his apartment, and so he checks his surroundings and steals a car whose key he already possesses, and many other car keys, and spots a girl interested in him. And has made it to this garage to change the license plates. Yeah, I was about to con him there. And leaves and has made it here during the night, and he's here to meet with the girl. She wakes up to let him in, and her name is Jane Lagrange, played by Natalie Delon, who used to be Elaine Delon's wife in the 60s. Yeah, they speak in French. I won't play many clips in this movie, and since it's not an English movie, subtitles annoy a lot of people. So Jeff tells Jane he came here at 7:15 p.m. and left at 2 a.m., and Jane responds that Wiener will come at 2 a.m. as well, her boyfriend, or her husband.
Chez moi, parce que tu as besoin de moi.
That was cold. The next scene, Jeff is here at this motel, room number 12, and the bald guy lets him in. The bald guy lets him in as they play cards. But Jeff leaves and will come back at 2 a.m. and to make sure he brings money. So Jeff has made it to this club, raising his collars to try to remain private, and goes inside Marty's. After looking around, just goes into the washroom. After doing that, he just peeks through the door to look at the place and just keeps an eye on the pianist. And just walks out the door and enters his private room and sees this guy at the desk questioning Jeff Costello. Yeah, I forgot to mention he's a hitman, Jeff. Here comes the pianist, Valerie, played by Kathy Rosier, and he walks as fast as he can, as specific people are eyeballing him as he leaves. So he leaves Marty's and throws away the evidence, and he's back at Jane's apartment and sees this man walking towards here, and that's Wiener that she was mentioning earlier. And he just drives away and just takes a cab. And the next scene, the police and forensics are here to take a look at the body, and the inspector here is already giving the description, the commissaire. Last time I checked, Elaine Delon isn't tall, and he's back at the motel for the card game, and the police are here. And everyone here shows their papers, but this cop wants Jeff to come along to see if he actually makes a living, since he has no income. And now for the usual suspects like seen here with all the guys who somewhat fit the description of the guy who committed the murder at Marty's. Now this guy comes in to read out the description of the suspect, and the pianist and all the other witnesses from Marty's are there watching. So this guy's done now for the next one and reads out his history of carrying a gun, since it's important to him. Now it's Jeff Costello's turn, and these girls are trying so hard to cover for Jeff, just pure thirst.
C'était un chapeau plus foncé.
Non, c'était un chapeau clair. Mais il avait une moustache.
But the older guys on the right are somewhat certain that it was Jeff who was there, and asks Jeff where he was between 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. and asks for his girlfriend name and address to prove he was with her. And the cop there calls up Jane to make sure Jeff isn't lying, and the guy from earlier is here, and his name is Wiener, with Jane Lagrange. Only she's allowed to go see Jeff Costello. And the detective questions her what she was doing before 2 a.m. when Wiener came, and says she had a visitor, which was Jeff. And he mentions his name, Jeff Costello. So the detective goes to the next room to question Jeff and why he's lying and why Marty, the club, is named after him. And Jeff denies everything, so the detective calls in Wiener to question him when he arrived at Jane's place, and he asks Wiener a serious question to see if someone was there at Jane's place, but he replies that someone did walk past him when he entered the building. So the detective tries something here and has another usual suspect scene where all these suspects are to wear their hats and coats, and brings in Jeff in front of Jane to get to that interrogation, and now asks this guy to switch clothes with Jeff, and the detective brings in Wiener. And Wiener looks at all the suspects. That's very smart. So after that, they all change back into their normal clothes, and the detective lets Wiener and Jane leave. And the detective is not going to give up yet, since Jeff Costello is the one, according to him. And now one guy from Marty says no, and the other says yes, that Jeff Costello was and wasn't there. And same thing with the other guy, and the receptionist are all brought into the office, and even Valerie denies Jeff killing Marty, that he wasn't there. And the next morning it's Sunday, as the detective lets Jeff go since majority rules, And Jeff waits for a taxi and has made it to this apartment, and the taxi driver was an undercover detective as he calls back the station. And walks back out and goes down to the train station and escapes, and the undercover detective posing as a taxi driver lost him. And Jeff Costello has made it here and goes down to another train station and has made it here at this Hitman building and meets up with this guy who paid Jeff to kill Marty. As he's about to pay Jeff, shots are fired. And Jeff has made it home with a wound on his arm. It looks like a bullet slid off his arm, and now feeds his pet bird and smokes to relax. The next scene, the detectives are back speaking to one of the staff members from Marty's, and even the guy who was there to pay Jeff is also there. And now the main detective is concerned that Jane may be lying to save Jeff Costello, so instructs the other to keep an eye on Jane Lagrange. And now 10 p.m. as Jeff wakes up from his nap and further treats his wound. And with a change of clothes, he's back outside and drops his crumpled up paper bag, and this guy picks it up. And Jeff has made it back to Marty's to watch Valerie. And the other bartender knows the criminal always comes back to the scene of the crime. And he doesn't even drink the whiskey, but still pays for it. What? Now these two guys are here at Jeff's apartment, and just like Jeff, looks like they stole Jeff's set of keys and try every key to break in, and these guys are probably detectives since they're bugging the place. And while the whole time the bird is just worried. One of them goes into this hotel and the other just drives away, and goes into the hotel room to listen to Jeff Costello's activity the moment he comes back. Next scene, Valerie's leaving Marty's and comes Jeff asking for a ride. And he finally asks her the question why he didn't give him up, but she still asks why Jeff killed Marty. And he just killed Marty because he thought he was getting paid. And now back at the station as the detective is questioning someone that looks very similar to Jeff Costello, and Jeff is at Valerie's apartment as he asks who's someone who would kill Marty who was close to him, and he would like to contact the guy who was supposed to be paid by and his employer. And he will find the man who wanted to kill Marty through Valerie, and she asks him to call her back in 2 hours. And now it's Monday at 7 a.m. and Jane Lagrange opens the door for Jeff, and it's the detective again as his men search the room.
Jeff?
Oui.
And she will probably get 5 years for lying about Jeff's time slot. And he tells Jane that Jeff has been spending time with Valerie, the pianist from Marty's, and he calls her a prostitute since she's been sleeping with Jeff Costello and Wiener there paying for her apartment without him knowing she's been doing this. And now the detective or the commissaire bribes her in a way with this paper statement that Jeff wasn't here the night of the murder and his case is forgotten. And the detective is getting sick of this already and she's questioning it. But she says no to this because it's too easy. And Jeff has made it back into his bugged apartment, and him looking at his pet bird is making him want to search the apartment. So he goes to the shop to use a payphone to call up Valerie, but she just walks upstairs. Back at his apartment, so it's the same guy who tried to kill Jeff and he thought his arrest was a police trap, and even gives him 4 million francs or dollars for a new job. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's francs. And tells Jeff that Olivia Ray sent him, but he's still going to do the job since money. And back at the station, the detective telling all the others that Jeff found the bug in the apartment, and Jeff tying up the guy who paid him just leaves him there. And the cops are now keeping an eye where Jeff is going. So far down the train station, just escapes the train, and the cops are just trying to locate Jeff Costello with all these street names being reported. It ends up here with this woman sitting on the bench, and she spots Jeff and follows him. Or maybe she just likes you, Jeff. And has made it into this car with cops giving further instructions on Jeff's location and back at the same garage with this guy to change the license plate again. And this is the last time he will change it and drives back to Jane Lagrange, questioning if she's in trouble. Asks him if he needs her and just runs away again. And has made it here to see Olivia Ray, played by Jean-Pierre Posier, and pushes him back. And he's made it back to Marty's and with a loaded gun. And here comes out Valerie and puts his gloves on and just looks at her. And turns out the new contract is to kill Valerie. It was all a trap and the police have killed Jeff Costello, the Hitman, or the Samurai, or Le Samouraï, because he thinks he's a samurai even though he's not doesn't look like a conventional samurai.
Non.
And that is Le Samouraï from 1967. Nice movie, very simple. A lot of you may have not heard of Alain Delon till like 2 years ago when he died at the age of 88. Just like another guy named Jean-Paul Belmondo also died at the age of 88. But that's it. Thanks for watching as always, and take care. See you soon and watch away. And Happy New Year once again, 2026.